What up, team? Here we are today talking about another one of those topics. We just had a banger of a video talking about Terrace and Marichka. I got real with you guys. It is time to do that once more. We are talking about the Nerf to Polymorph. Why are we talking about this? Because 80% of your comments on that video were talking about Polymorph, how annoying it is. I agree. I'm going to tell you what I think in a very structured way. You're going to hear me out here, and I need some comments from you guys. I think you'll like what I have to say here. So let's dive straight into it. What up, team? It is MurderInc. We're talking about Polymorph, the blessing, the annoying blessing. So, I have this document here that I'm going to read for you as I'm talking and explaining about this. We all know. It's like you're getting headbutt by a sheep in the middle of your arena fight. So, we need to go over a couple things here. There's a right way and there's a wrong way to ask for a change for this, similar to Terrace and Marichka. Kind of the same logic, reasoning I'm going to use for that video. Same thing is going to apply here. So, how to not approach this? And this is how I've seen the feedback kind of passed on to Plarium. Plarium, your blessing is annoying, frustrating, stupid, makes me not want to PvP anymore, not play those aspects of your game. True. All of them are true. But that's not how you talk to them. They're going to brush you off and say, I don't care. Just go away. Deal with it, go away. This is how you're supposed to approach them, right? For something to happen. Plarium, I have an issue with Polymorph. Murder, why do you have an issue? It's unoriginal. You might be thinking, unoriginal, what do you mean? You copied it from World of Warcraft, right? This is an ability in World of Warcraft. It is a staple ability of World of Warcraft. I love the game. I played it for a long time, so I appreciate the connection here, but this is Raid Shadow Legends. You could have done so many cool things. You could have made it a chicken, instantly unique to Raid if you make it a chicken. What do we have already in the game? Chickens. If I was into the chicken, think about it for a second. Number two, it's low impact. It really is. It's just a low impact. People are going to say, Murder, you're wrong. It's annoying. It's meta. Everyone has to use it. You want to know why it's meta? Because everyone uses it. That's it. That's the only reason why. Debuffers, nuke champions do not need defense down weekend to nuke your entire team. They don't. Now, one argument that could be made is the block passive debuff that was added. You don't want to, you could. People still do gamble and they win, but you really don't want to gamble something like that, or someone like a Terrace placing debuffs at the start of a battle gets sheeped, right? So I'm keeping low impact for now because if you think about it, in a majority player base, it is low impact. Game hindrance, right? So you might be thinking, how does low impact and game hindrance work in the same sentence? Okay, here's why. If you see sheep on your other team and you have no other options besides a debuffer, you're going to get sheeped. You probably will still win, depending on what team you're running, but it's going to make the fight take longer because you could get sheeped. And maybe you could lose, but there are rarely any defenses outside of the top like 0.1%, which is so irrelevant to this topic at the moment, where it's going to be a game-changing effect for your team, right? So that's why game hindrance is here. Number 4, the counter option's boring. The way to counter sheep is so boring. You just don't bring debuffs. It's kind of like what they say, right? Player base. Sheep sucks. Polymorph sucks. Get rid of it. Plarium. Don't bring a debuffer. Like, that's just so boring, right? Which goes into the next point, lack of creativity in blessing design interactions. It goes right hand in hand with the counter options boring. Okay, so what do? We presented it correctly to them. Now what do? Here are some viable changes. This is a wrong viable change. Just delete it from the game. With me? Everyone's with me. Who doesn't not want that? Get refunded. The blessing's gone. You get your free 2 refreshes for free that you can use on any other champion. Fine. They're not going to do that. It's quite obvious. Here's my pitch. I'm going to give you my pitch. I have 2 options for reworking this. And then I want to hear what you guys have as far as what you would do to Polymorph in the comment section. Before I give you my pitch, there is one major thing you have to talk about. One point that I rarely see discussed is that there are so few options that are really good for Arena, you almost have to take Polymorph. Which again, abysmal design. Make the other blessings better. Make them better. For offense and for defense. I mean, offense, there are some pretty good ones. I'll give them that. But for defense, there's not. There's really not. So make the other blessings better. Some of them are so stupid. I know it. The people watching know it. There's no way Plarium doesn't know it. There's no way they don't. So I don't know what they're doing, but you need to buff blessings or just add the new ones. You can leave the other ones as trash. You've seen the analytics, no one's using them, yet you'll leave it there for some reason. I don't know why, but major point needs to be said, has to be heard, and yeah, big point. So if I'm your design team, what do? I present to you 2 options. Polymorph can now be reflected. Why do I see this? Let's head on into my game real quick here. We have this gear set called Deflection. Who's using Deflection for anything? I made a Bommel team with it. I think it was the fastest at the time when I made it. That was really good. But who else is using Deflection gear? Nobody. If you allow sheep to be deflected, this becomes a good set. It really does. Now, you might be thinking about there are champions that can deflect. Sure, there are champions that can deflect. But think about this, they have to apply a debuff first. And it's really easy to play around. You can pop that deflection passive, whatever it is, on a champion before they get a turn. So when it's time for them to get sheeped, they do. There's the workaround right there. So that's 100 times more engaging, and this is just one of the 3 parts I'm going to be suggesting for the complete overhaul. Number 2, I think you guys are going to like this one, but I'm curious about your feedback. So with the Polymorph goes through, turns an enemy into a sheep with 75% HP and 25% turn meter for 1 turn. Now listen to this interaction. If the sheep isn't broken, meaning you don't kill it and knock it down to 8 HP, before the enemy that was sheeped takes a turn, they return to their normal state and take their turn instantly. They don't return with this empty turn meter. They get their turn instantly. Now, if you do, in fact, break their HP, bring it all the way down to 0, it becomes the normal Polymorph. They then take a turn as the sheep. It unlocks that stupid sheep skill, and they keep the Polymorph for the 2nd turn. That's so much more engaging. The simplest thing ever. When you sheep someone, you have to kill them. You have to get their HP to 0. If you don't, they break right out of it, and they get a turn. Like, what you did was completely wasted. Make it a 2-parter. Don't make it this brainless interaction that no one cares about. This is fun. Part 3 of the reworked Polymorph. The debuff cannot be blocked or resisted. You'll see why I'm saying that. So this stays the same how it currently is. Part 4. Enemies under sheep cannot be healed or buffed or have any interactions with passives. Sheep champions keep the stats they had when going into the sheep debuff. This includes non-shared damage buffs and debuffs. So if there was a hex on the champion, they're not going to take AoE damage in the sheep form trying to get broken out. If they have ally protection, they're not going to split shared damage, and it's going to be harder for them to get knocked out. If they have strengthen, if they have increased defense on them, that's going to apply to them in the sheep form, which again gives you another edge to counteract this really annoying part of the game already, because they're not going to remove it. This is the second part of this. The turn meters of polymorph champions can be increased, making it once again into the person that's getting polymorph's hands where they can actually do something about it, right? So if you're going to sheep someone, you better have a speed-tuned team that can nuke them pretty quickly. Because if a champion on my team gets sheeped and I have a turn meter going next, it's like you didn't sheep me at all. You might be thinking, Murder, isn't that a waste of a blessing? Not really. Because again, it's engaging. There's a lot of interaction going on there, and it's just more fun. It's not just some brainless, I used a debuff and I got sheeped, GG. Now I see her for 2 turns twiddling my thumbs. Right? Terrible game design. Okay, so that's my first proposition. The second one is very, very simple. Polymorph now requires accuracy. Polymorph cannot be blocked, which means it can go through anything, you just need accuracy. Polymorph cannot be reflected. Very simple, 3 changes, defining factors of polymorph. Automatically, you make it more interesting. Now, your polymorph champions have to have accuracy. Now, your polymorph champions can get 3%ed, so it's like a double-edged sword of RNG. Polymorph can't be blocked. It is what it is. If you're trying to counter this, you cannot just put block debuffs. That would be literally a waste of a blessing. So we'll go through that. But polymorph cannot be reflected. Good deterrence. Deflection set, again, using a gear set that nobody cares about because it's been so irrelevant for forever. And, like I said, you can build resistance now. You have to build accuracy on the polymorph champion, so you might determine that maybe it's not worth running polymorph if I have to build accuracy. Right? Simple things. I did not sit here for 3 weeks thinking about this. Today, I said, I'm going to make a video on polymorph because that's what the comments are about. What's at the top of my mind? This. The 2 things I just presented to you as options for a change to polymorph. That was at the top of my mind. Easy. I'm sure people watching have even better ideas than I just presented here. Put them in the comment section. I want to read what you have to say about polymorph, how you could change it, how you can make it an overall benefit to the game. Make it engaging, make it fun. Don't just make it like, oh, sheep meta, am I going to get sheep this battle? Is it going to take 2 minutes, 3 minutes instead of the normal 60-second fight? They talk about cutting down game time, and they add things like this that increases game time, like, not technically, but technically, right? It's kind of stupid. This will make fights quicker. This will make it, I've said the word engaging like 50 times in this video. Make it engaging. People want to know how to counter something. They don't want to say, my counter is I don't bring a certain champion. Like, in what world is that good game design? None. None. Nothing like that works in this game right now. So why Plarium, Raid as a company, decided to add that is beyond me. Whoever fed you that idea, I'm sure they had other ideas. The fact that you guys picked that one is mind-blowing. And like, you let that go through. It's just mind-blowing. You need better testers. You need better think tank people. You need better people making your decisions to make this a good game. This is one of those things where usually and I've said this before, you have to think of it from a business point of view. How can they make money? This has absolutely nothing to do with making money. There can be a point for whales. Like, okay, now whales have to go and buy blessing, the soul shards or whatever, and they have to get 6-star ascension on their champion, so they have 6-star sheep. Sure. Or, now, crazy thought, make 5 or 6 blessings really good. Then think about how much more money you would make from people buying your soul stones than currently, with just one meta thing you're chasing. Pretty self-explanatory. I mean, listen, the fact that you guys have professionals in your company that are hired to do this, and that went over their head, I don't know, it might be time. It might be time for a change, just saying. New CEO, old CEO, I don't care, just take some time and think about some of the stuff you're adding. So that's the video. I mean, it's that simple. That's the video. Talked about sheep, talked about what I would do with it, talked about the proper ways to approach it. Everything has been said here, and much more valuable, important information are going to be said from viewers in the comment section. It matters. It really does. I don't know how long people are going to be complaining about this. They're not going to stop. If you think this is going to die down, clueless. Actually clueless again. So that concludes this video. Thank you guys for watching. Like I said, your feedback is very important to me above all, but it will be important to the people reading, so do take the time and write something down. As always, if you enjoy this content, smash that like button, subscribe, turn the notification bell, and I will see you all in the next upload.